Well, glad to see you guys on this cold Monday. I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of converting from icy cold into some heat, but that's not what's going to happen today. What's going to happen today is we're going to work on converting between different units. We did a little bit of this actually in the last 2 lessons. We did some conversions within the metric system. Then we did some conversions within the imperial system. And today we're going to do something kind of similar, except we're going to say, okay, what about conversions where you need to go between the metric system and the imperial system? So starting out, this tape measure is kind of a nice one for thinking about how units of distance can be converting between one and the other. So let's take a look here. Do me a favor. Take a look here. What would 4 inches convert approximately to a centimeter? Inches at the top. Yeah. So what would it become in centimeters to the ball? What's 4 like?
Okay.
Yeah. 4 inches is about 10 centimeters. It looks like it's almost exact. Not quite, but almost. Like, okay, and how's this? What would be 1 foot approximately in centimeters? Yeah, about 30. And they're not exact, but it's pretty close there. Pretty close there. Now, conversion factor is how much of something there is in another thing. We talked in that first unit about unit rate, or like the rate per one of something, right? Like we talked about how many dollars per hour, or we talked about like how many something per something else, how many blank per 100 grams, those kinds of things. But with this tape measure, we looked here, we saw that 1 foot was approximately 30 centimeters. Looking on here, it looks to me like 1 foot is like, let's see, maybe 30.3 centimeters, something like that, is my approximation from what I see here. So 1 foot is maybe something like 30.3 centimeters, give or take. And this is going to be plus or minus a little bit, right? Plus or minus a little bit. So if this is the case, if it's about 1 foot or 12 inches, if 12 inches is about 30.3 centimeters, then how many centimeters would be in 4 feet? How would you find that out? If you knew how many are in 1 foot, how would you figure how many are in 4? Well, to go from 1 foot to 4 feet, we would go times 4. So probably we could figure out how many by doing times 4, hey? Now, I've been a little inconsistent. I've kind of done 2 ways of converting. Sometimes we set up a proportion. Something over something equals something over something, and we cross multiply divide. What I've done more often in this unit, though, is the science kind of way, unit analysis. So I go, something like 4 feet times, we'd set up our conversion rate that we have here, and we'd go like 1 foot equals 30.3 centimeters. So what we end up with is 4 times 30.3. So we end up with 121.2 centimeters, approximately. And we recognize I did use an approximation of 30.3, so this is approximately 121.2 centimeters. Oh, it tells me to the nearest centimeter. So I guess I could then round to approximately 121 centimeters. And now a little bit more simply, if 1 foot is 12 inches, which is approximately 30.3 centimeters, then how do we figure out how many centimeters there are in 1 inch? If we know how many centimeters there are in a foot, how do we figure out how many centimeters there are in 1 inch? 12 inches in a foot. I know there's 30.3 centimeters in a foot. So how do I figure it out per inch? Teacher, just tell me. Good try. See if you can figure out how many centimeters approximately are in 1 inch. This is our approximation. See, there's 1 inch times. How many times? Well, I know there's 12 inches in 1 foot, and they're in, went a little far down there, sorry. And there's, we said 30.3 centimeters in 1 foot. So the long and short of what we end up doing is we go 30.3 divided by 12 to figure out how many inches per centimeter. 30.3 divided by 12 will give us how many. So do that. Use the calculator that you grabbed from math class. 30.3 divided by 12. Who needs one? Please, when you come in, get a calculator. It will make your life and my life much more pleasant in here. I'll make less snarky comments, and you will be able to figure things out more quickly. I grabbed 7, that's probably not perfect. That looks about right. 30.3 over 12 is about 2.5. Yeah. Nice. So then if we know it's 2.5 centimeters per inch, how many centimeters would be 8 inches? That one I'm going to let you try first. 2.5 centimeters per inch. So how many centimeters in 8 inches? Part of what I'm asking is I find sometimes we rely too much on writing it out a certain way. In a question like this, if you know there's 2.5 centimeters in an inch, and you know you're looking for how many centimeters in 8 inches, a lot of you just intuitively will say, oh, I think I know what I'm doing there. A lot of you will just figure out, oh, I think I can just try some operations, and I think I might be able to guess which one it is. Does that look similar to what anyone's done? Hayden, what'd you get? What did you get? I got 20. 20? 2.5 times 8? Yeah. Really? Nice job. And if I'm thinking about it, it was 12 inches for 1 foot. That was 30. 8 inches is 2/3 of 12. 2/3 of 30 is 20. That makes sense to me. Can you help me again here? What's it say under the 8? Nice. So it sounds like we're on the right track. Good. Is it really? 20 centimeters. I like it. So we have a few kind of conversions that we can be thinking about here. So 1 foot is about 30 centimeters, about 12 inches. Well, actually, exactly 12 inches. We see that 1 inch is about 2.5 centimeters, give or take a little bit. Now, something that you guys will start getting used to is, I'll be giving you guys formula sheets that look like this fairly soon. What I think I'll actually probably do is, in the 10-3 workbook, these are at the back, so I don't have a full class set printed out, because I was planning to just have you guys be 10-3 initially. But I'll print out formula sheets like this for you guys that you'll just have. But what you notice on here is there's a whole bunch of conversions on the front. You get to have this for any assignment or test you're doing, this formula sheet. But it basically tells you a whole bunch of conversion rates that you can use. Any of your assignments you have right now will have the necessary conversion rates that you need. But something like this is kind of worth getting used to, because you start seeing, oh, I see that, like, you know, in the case of this lesson, it's like, oh, I see that, you know, 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. I also see that 1 foot is equal to 2.3048 inches. I mean, meters. I see that 1 inch is equal to, oh, the actual 2.54 centimeters. And you start getting some conversion rates like that you sort of just know and are able to use regularly. So I'll have this printed for you pretty well. So let's go with some bigger units now. What about going with like speed, where it's miles per hour or kilometers per hour? Have you ever driven or like gone on a road trip where you go through the States? There's a very stupid old Red Green joke. You know who Red Green is? Old CBC. It was like a kind of redneck show that, yeah, it used to be pretty popular. But he talked about how when he moved from the States to Canada, he was so confused because the sign said Canadian miles per hour. No, it's kilometers per hour. But Canadian miles per hour are not miles, it's kilometers. They're different conversion rates. Kilometers are a smaller distance than miles per hour. So our signs, if you're driving on Highway 2, it says 110 kilometers per hour. If you're driving on lots of secondary highways, 100 kilometers per hour. In the States, you'll more often see 60, 65, 55, 70. Some of those states in the Northeast, it's like 80 miles an hour, pretty fast. Let's figure out what approximately 65 miles per hour is. So we have this conversion rate of 1.609 kilometers per 1 mile. So let's see, okay, so if 65 miles times, okay, 1 mile at 1.609 kilometers. So we end up with miles canceling, so 65 times 1.609. So we end up with 104.585 or 104.6 kilometers. So 65 miles per hour is pretty close to our speed limit, right? My little sister lives in Ohio, which is a state in the United States. It's the state that has Cleveland and Columbus and Cincinnati. And so my brother-in-law and I were driving a big moving truck there a few summers ago, big U-Haul. And like most of the highways on the way there were 80 miles an hour. So we're driving this like huge U-Haul thing at 80 miles an hour down these big interstates. Man, by the end of those days, it was like I was so amped up because you're driving really quickly in a big truck. But what would be, if 65 miles is about 105 kilometers, what do you think 80 miles would be about? No. More. That's so if 65 miles is about 105 kilometers, what do you think 80 miles would be about? Be close to. Yeah, really good thinking. It's close to that. It's a little under 130, but really close to that. Excellent logic. Yeah. So somewhere in that range. Nice. Hey, welcome back. How about this? So Clint is renovating his house. It sounds like my life. Always more jobs to do. And he needs 16.6 meters of baseboards. Now, the hardware store, you can buy them in pieces that are a foot long. How many feet of baseboards does he need? So he needs 16.6 meters, but he needs to buy it in feet. So we see that 1 foot is equal to 0.3048 meters.
So he needs roughly 32.
It's going to be a little more than that. We're in the range, though. A little more than that, though. Let's see. Now, you guys just noticed that it's probably a little confusing because now I keep using this unit analysis, dimensional analysis, where it's something times another fraction. This is my default way of changing units. I just want to point out, though, what we were doing in the first unit looked more like this. It was like 1 foot per 0.3048 meters, and we would say then equals, and we would say instead 16.6 meters times x. I just want to point out, this is two ways of setting up the same thing. Yeah, go. Yeah. Check out them. It would be worthwhile when you get home. I will post this. Make sure you save that up, okay? Just notice, this seems a little bit weird because I've set these up upside down. If you're doing 16.6 times this conversion factor, this is called unit analysis, dimensional analysis. This is what you do in science. This is what I usually do. But what we were doing last unit was setting up proportions, foot per meter equals foot per meter. Either way, let's see what ends up happening in terms of multiplication. This top way, 16.6 times 1 divided by 0.3048. If we were cross multiply divide, find x, 16.6 times 1 divided by 0.3048. So right, either way the math we're doing is the same. It's kind of two different ways of setting up. I know for some people it's, wait, this is confusing because it looks different. It's because in this case I'm just setting up the multiplication. In this case I'm saying it's a proportion, and then we cross multiply divide to find it. Probably actually mostly it's like, oh, maybe I get that. It's okay, well we'll see. Okay. I don't really care that you can do both. I care that you find one that works. Okay. Really an insight. Yes. Okay. So 16.6 divided by 0.3048 is 10 years, 10 to the, okay, let's see, 54.5 feet. But I disagree with this question. This is really stupid. It told me they sell them by the foot. So that means I can either buy 54 feet or 55 feet. Should I buy 54 feet or 55 feet? Yeah, I better not buy less than I need, eh? In a case like this, you always round up. You always say, well, if I'm able to buy them by the foot, I want to make sure I buy extra of what I need. So actually, I should buy, or Clint should buy, $55 if they're sold in foot increments. There's actually a pretty good chance there's some wastage too, so I hope this works for them, but we'll see. All right. So for today's work, this is all you need. I guess there's one more that I guess is sort of assumed. 1 foot is 12 inches. You may need that. One of these. I'd like you to get a chance to do a little bit of practice here. Then we're gonna keep on cooking. But give these two a try. Let's see how you're able to do on these. Okay, go.